So I've owned this camera for about 10 years now, and yesterday I listed it on eBay, and reason being is I'm trying to get some funds together so I can purchase a new Fuji. And just as I listed it, maybe like a couple hours later, it sold, and that's the regret I was talking about. When it sold, I was kind of like, damn. Like I kind of like second guessed myself, like, should I really have sold that? Regardless, it sat pretty much untouched for like the last year or so. I wanted to get out with it like one last time and maybe make a video about it, because I've owned it for quite a while now, and I think that I can offer an opinion from somebody who is a long-term user. I'm not going to get too nerdy on the specifics because Wikipedia exists, but I'm basically going to be talking about this camera more from like a shooter's or a user's perspective. Also, all these images that I'm showing you in this video are straight out of camera. They're all JPEGs shot with the standard profile, unless otherwise mentioned. I did shoot a couple in black and white, but these aren't RAWs and they're not edited. So what you see is pretty much what you're going to get. So I've been out shooting with both of these cameras, the XT3 and the Coolpix A, and the battery life difference is pretty crazy. So I've still got full bars on the Coolpix. I may be like, I don't know, 100 photos in or something like that, and I've got like half of my battery life left on the XT3. Now I know it's moving a lot more internally, but that just goes to show you, I mean, the battery life on this thing is excellent. The Coolpix A is a super compact camera, and I see here that it has little dangly ears that I could put a strap on, but as you can see here, the strap that came with it is still wrapped in its original plastic, and it never made it out of the bag, because to me this thing just screams, put me in a pocket. And that's pretty much how I've been using it for like the last 10 years is I slip it in a pocket and I just go. It's kind of amazing to me how, with like such a small form factor, Nikon was able to cram all of the buttons and external controls on this thing. I mean, really, it's kind of like a mini DSLR in a way. And I used to shoot pretty much exclusively Nikon DSLRs before I switched over to Fuji a couple years ago. And most of these controls are pretty much similar to what they would have on the external of their DSLR bodies as well. The menu system is pretty much a typical Nikon menu. If you shot Nikon, you'll find yourself right at home. And if you haven't, I mean, everything's laid out super well, pretty easy to find and navigate. And probably the most important thing of any camera is the image quality. And I think that's really where this thing shines, because the images that I shoot with this thing, I'm never disappointed. The lens is super duper sharp, and it's a 28mm equivalent 2.8, and I believe there's a Sony sensor in here. Now this shoots both RAW, JPEG, and also video. The video is nothing really to write home about. It's 1080p. I used to record some old YouTube videos with this a few years ago. It works, but I don't know, it's kind of meh. And again, it does do RAW. Mainly I'm shooting JPEGs out of this. And speaking of shooting JPEG, this thing gives you a bunch of different profiles that you can shoot with. So in here, you have 12 profiles, And these are kind of like your, I don't know, like a Fuji equivalent would be like the film simulations. They have standard, neutral, vivid, monochrome, portrait, landscape, and then 6 customizable ones. And these customizable ones, you can kind of maybe think of these as your film recipes. Like you can go through, you see that it'll kind of like take the saturation and change the saturation, and you can edit those. Nothing like you can with a Fuji camera, but it still gives you a little bit of a control on the output of your JPEGs. Mainly I'm shooting this in standard or monochrome, which I guess the Fuji equivalents would be probably Provia and Across. Now, while I'm very happy with the images that this kicks out, especially in JPEG, there are occasions when it will overexpose just a little bit. And I'll give you guys some examples here. Something else to note too is it tends to lean, the auto white balance, I think, tends to lean a little bit cooler when compared to other cameras. And again, if you're shooting RAW, this is kind of a moot point because you can just, just change everything after the fact when you're in post. But if you're coming right out of the gate, it might be something to be aware about. Now, I kind of wish that I had a Richo GRiii that I could directly compare this to, image quality wise, and just kind of see, where they would compare, because I think, this is a 10-year-old camera, and I think the images would absolutely stand up, no problem, to a new modern Richo. Now, you're not going to get the autofocus performance and the customizability that you would on like a Richo, but yeah, I think, image quality wise, absolutely. So to the guy in California who bought this off of eBay from me, I hope you like it, because I sure did. And like I said, I almost just about regret selling it, and I'm sure I'll feel better once I can replace it with my new Fuji. The only problem there is Fuji can't keep a camera in stock for more than a week. But when they do get in stock, hopefully I'll be able to jump on it, then. But yeah. So to summarize my thoughts on the Coolpix A, I'd probably say this was a camera that was just way ahead of its time, and that's a great thing for now, for somebody who might be buying it now, because I think it could hold its own with like the Ricos and the Fujis, as far as like image quality. Now, you're not going to get the customizability, you're not going to get the autofocus performance, things like that, but I don't know, if you're just shooting stills, this thing it's a banger. It totally works. And it shoots kind of like a mini DSLR with all the external controls. And here I am, I'm talking it up, and I sold the thing. So I don't know, but hey, I'll be happy when I'll forget all about it when I get my new Fuji. I'm saving up for an XT30ii. I have the XT3 and I love it, but sometimes it's just kind of big and bulky. So I want that XT30ii because it's basically just a little mini version. So that's what these funds are going to go to. So hopefully I'll forget about this, when that comes back out, but when it's available. But anyway, it's going to wrap it up for me, guys. If you have this camera, enjoy it. I definitely did. And until the next video, we'll see you.